yo, guys.
Good evening, and welcome to Dana Being Dana. This is marrieds versus singles. And I'm your host, Dana Michelle, and that's my background music. And that's not really Jodeci, but that's all right. Anyway, I've got my friends here. We are having a good time tonight. We are talking about relationships, and I've got a very diverse panel, although we're all black. But we're going to be talking about, some of us are married, some of us are single, some of us are divorced. So we're going to be talking about relationships, and I think it's going to be a great perspective. You were in for a special treat. We got a little game where we're going to be using these a little bit later, so stay tuned. Please share the show. If you're in a relationship, you want a relationship, if you can spell relationship, I would appreciate you sharing the show. So before we get into all the nitty-gritty, I want to introduce my panel. My friend Brian. How you doing, Brian?
What's going on? What's going on?
What's going on, Brian? Brian is a host of a show here on Intellectual Radio. Can you tell us a little bit about it?
Oh, we're not on here.
Okay.
But I do have a show. It's called Real Ish of the Day.
Real Ish.
I'm the host, B. Shine. We talk about a lot of topics, from what constitutes rape to why are women single to just whatever I feel like on any given day.
Well, all right. Me too. Okay. Can you tell us how people can find you?
Oh, you can go to my Facebook page, Brian Shine. You can also go to the Real Ish of the Day Facebook page. And you can also go to the Real Ish of the Day on YouTube.
Awesome. And can you tell us your status? Can you show us what you are?
This is my status because I'm in the middle. Technically, I'm supposed to be single, but I'm not married, so I'm engaged. Little single-ish. I don't know.
Single-ish. You've seen her before. She's been on the show before. This is my girl Kelly. How you doing, Kelly? In the house. Yes, honey. And so, Kelly, can you tell us your status, please? The set you rep.
This one right here.
She's married.
Right here.
She's married.
All day.
Happy
all
birthday
day.
to Desire.
All
His birthday yesterday.
Yesterday. Happy birthday.
We love
Happy
you.
birthday.
We love
Desire.
you. Next, we have Sam. How you doing, Sam?
I'm fine. How are you?
I'm good. Good. Can you tell us your status? You want to show it? Yes, honey. Hit him up in the DMs, y'all. Next, you've seen her before. Her husband was on here last week. They are sponsors of the show. My cousin.
Woo! The one and only.
The one and only.
Yes.
Miss Leah.
Woo!
Hey, girl. Clap for you too, girl. Love you, girl. Yes, honey. What is your status?
I'm married.
She's married. She's married now.
Yeah.
All right. And last but not least, the birthday man himself. His birthday was on Monday. Terrence, how you doing?
I'm doing awesome. How you doing?
Good, good. Thank you for being
All
here.
right, all right.
And your status?
My status, 15 years.
15 years in the married game.
Congratulations.
That's right. Shouts out to my girl Kim, who is Terrence's lovely wife. Thank you all for being here. People have been eagerly anticipating this show, but before we get to that, we just want to acknowledge our sponsors for the night. They were here last week, all of them. Gary Harris from GH Private Wealth Management, 800-591-6004. They had a great show last week, and people were very interested in all the stuff they were talking about. Do you want to be rich or do you want to be wealthy? First, you got to fix your credit. And if you need to do that, you need to call Audrey Phillips. She's our credit repair specialist. 847-721-7198. Her website is, I'll post it in some of the posts that I've got, so you can check that out, her website. And Dr. Phyllis Wilson, personal development strategy, consulting, and workshops, or to purchase a copy of her book, Josephine's Coat of Many Colors. You can reach her at phyllis@josephinescoat.com, 312-600-5561. Don't forget to register for the Homecoming Challenge, www.homecomingchallenge.com. We're doing big things. We'll talk about that later. Now, this has been a great week in terms of love and relationships. We got a new black princess.
Woohoo! Woo!
Meghan Markle got married this week to Prince Harry.
Yeah.
Yes.
Brian, should I start with you?
Yes.
Should we talk about the royal
Yes.
wedding? What did y'all think about the royal wedding?
I didn't care.
Loved it. I I was here for it.
I thought it was beautiful.
It was.
Only because people were washing my windows at 6 o'clock did I catch it, but it was wonderful. It's great.
It was fantastic. Any other comments about the royal wedding?
I think it had a lot to do with relationships and love, but I don't think that was American love.
No.
I don't think so.
It's international, multicultural,
I didn't see that.
Yes.
I didn't see that.
multiracial.
Oh, I saw it.
That was the only thing that I think a lot of people was just the fact that she's black.
But is she really black, though?
I mean, she's
Yeah.
Yeah,
she's black.
yes, she is.
Yeah,
You see her mama?
Her mom,
Right.
Her mom is darker than everybody in this room.
What
Yes.
about the daddy?
Daddy was white.
Sweet.
Well, I mean, he having a heart attack, so I don't know if he's still around. I don't keep up with it.
He's still there. He's tuning in. He's sharing the show. Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Markle. Appreciate you. So let's jump into it because I think we've got some very important topics. One of my favorites has to do, when it comes to relationships, is social media. My first question for you all, besides the wedding, is how has technology and social media impacted relationships? And I have a couple thoughts. I just remember back in the day when people were dating, you had like a beeper
Yes.
Yes.
or a flip phone, right? To
Yes.
reach you, people had to call your house phone, right? There was no, if you're out the house, if you're gone, they have to leave a message, voicemail, like a home voicemail, like, boop,
Right.
that everybody had to press and play,
Right.
right? Now, I think the accessibility is where it's at. I think that's one of the things before is that, you know, now people, the cell phone has a lot of data, but now, you know, before it was a beeper. You know, you could only get caught up for 143. What does 143 mean? Right? Do y'all know what that means?
I don't remember.
Yes, yes. 143. You never got 143?
I don't remember that.
I just did
I
01134. Like, hello. 0113.
Oh, hello.
Hello.
Look at you, Adele. You're just an old school Adele.
Y'all
got
have
you.
some great memories.
I got you.
That was
But what do you
8th
guys think about relationships and technology when it comes to social media?
Well, personally, I think for the weak, it hurts them. And for the strong, it is a scapegoat for why their relationships don't work.
That's true. That's true because you're already doing things that are shady in the first place in order to get caught up on social media. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, I mean, without social media, if a person was going to cheat, they would do it just like they did it back in the day. They would just meet people. Accessibility is easier, but everybody doesn't just cheat off social media. But the person they cheating with has access to them, and that access leads to being found out more, especially if your girl's Batman.
I'm sorry.
Batman. Yes. Yes. Another thing I think that is dangerous when it comes to social media is that you got to watch what you wear. You can't be
Why is
posting.
that?
You can't post your Wednesday outfit. You can't wear this tomorrow, right?
True.
Because everybody knows what you got on today, and so you got to watch what you wear.
I'm going to wear this tomorrow.
Right.
Y'all don't have to go to my page. You can already know. I might sleep in it.
This is tomorrow's outfit, ladies and gentlemen.
Or tonight's pajamas.
Out in these engaged streets. So one thing I want to ask the fellas, right? We're going to call them so that hopefully we can get on iHeartRadio. Little Richard pics. The Little Richard pics that people be sending in these DMs, right? You may not do this, but your friend might, right? Sending the Little Richard pics through the DMs on these interwebs, on these internets, right?
Okay.
What's up with that? Why do men do that so early? I think a lot of times, and I have taken a poll, a nationwide poll of my friends, and
Of my friends.
and the general consensus is, right, people are seem to be less interested in said Little Richard pictures until they've actually seen it for themselves. They don't want nobody. It sounds like people aren't interested in previews, and you all can let me know. You can ask questions if you want to. Are you interested in previews? Do you want a preview? Would you prefer not to have a preview? What's up with that?
Oh, okay. I'm going to speak for the fellas with that question. Are you asking us, do we want to receive a Little Richard pic?
No,
I mean,
no.
you're saying I mean, that's the way
I'm
that you just kind of worded
I'm
it.
saying,
Like,
no.
I think you're supposed to
unless
ask that for the women.
unless you want.
No, I'm okay with that. That's why I wanted to clarify. I just feel like you shouldn't send it unsolicited. If she don't ask, you shouldn't just say good morning. Just don't send that.
How many people are actually asked? Have you ever been asked for a Little Richard photo?
Yeah.
I don't know anything about this life.
Really?
I don't know anything about
Your
this.
husband hasn't sent you one?
Never had that. We live in the same house.
So what? But
Right.
he still hasn't just sent you one?
No, I don't know anything about this
Hey,
life.
hey,
I don't.
You need to
I don't
send her
understand
a
it.
Little Richard pic, bro.
Right now.
Keep it fresh.
Send it right now.
But I mean, I'm going home tonight. I don't understand it because I mean, we've been. What is this? It'll be coming up on 8 years that we've been together and 4 years married. So I feel like this thing has evolved while I've been in this committed relationship. That's why I don't know this world.
Right.
But I don't know if the other guys have something to say.
I got nothing to do with no
Yeah. That's not my thing. You gotta be cautionary because fallout can be aired out like that.
It's aired out there, and I think that's one
I
thing
just
that
don't trust that.
I think that's one thing people don't think about.
Yeah.
As an attorney, email, text messages, all of that is forever. And you think your audience is just one, right? You think the only person who's receiving it is the recipient. But what happens is, particularly when it's discovery, and when it's some sort of litigation, all of that stuff becomes relevant.
Dana going legal.
But you have to sift through all that
true.
stuff
Right.
to get to what you need that's relevant to your case. And
Your
let me tell you,
Honor, exhibit.
when you do become married, when you do want to settle down, when you do want to be with one person, hopefully forever, right, Brian?
Yeah, hopefully.
Yeah.
That's the plan.
You don't want your anatomy in the interwebs, do you?
Exactly.
It's okay. It's not
No.
that bad.
No, it's bad.
He said it's not that bad.
It's only bad if it was a cold night when you sent it and you're not hard, you know, it ain't bad. But
Was it swim night?
yeah, you know, if it look like a forearm, you know, she gonna be like, yeah, that's my man.
Hey, little Walter. Hey, little Walter, listen. Hey,
That's my tambourine.
little Walter.
I feel sorry for whoever you
Something's
singing Little
gonna
Walter
get you,
to.
little Walter. Next question. Can people of the opposite sex be friends?
No.
Yes.
Ooh.
Yes.
This
Explain.
one right here.
Go.
Ooh.
Okay. Well, first and foremost, the no is more of a fresh friendship. Because 9 times out of 10, the reason why the man, I mean, as far as like you getting to know someone, like, okay, if we became friends because we're doing the show together, that's a totally different animal. But if I just approached her on the street, I'm not approaching her because I can see that she's a great conversationalist. It's some type of attraction there. So my initial reason to speak to her is already going to be the groundwork for whenever I can get a chance to get it, I'm going to try to get it.
True.
So I don't believe in it.
True.
What say you, Mr. Moore?
I mean, I get what he's saying, but then I don't because, like I said, I think to each his own. If you might be somebody in the library, you study on a project and you just click, you know. Maybe they're dating somebody, you're dating somebody, so it's just love, respect. I think what he's saying is that typically the relationship is based on a friendship, you know.
It's true.
But every time it doesn't happen like that all the time, you know. So I got a few female friends. There's never been any type of connection, period, since 5th grade.
And you would never do it if the opportunity
But that's
presented
different.
I
I was gonna say
I had
that's
a
5th grade.
connection.
We all
5th
childhood
grade, but
friends. Right, we're
I
all
would've
childhood
realized
friends.
that.
We're all childhood friends.
I would have realized that.
Yeah, I just know that bro sis thing. If she got 3 bros, she done hit 2 up. She might not have dated them.
Well,
She's got bros. She's got bros. My problem when it comes, and I do believe you can have friends of the opposite sex, but I think sometimes things get lost in translation when people have different agendas.
Yeah, so
Everybody has a
Right.
motive,
Right.
and it's about being very clear and understanding, and therefore respectful or responsive. Follow me now, hello. To what those motives are. To what those motives are.
And he gonna wait
come on.
into the right moment to what your vulnerability is at its all-time high, and then he gonna be right there. He right there. He been
And they
sitting there.
pounce.
He been sitting there
And they
patiently.
Yeah.
Break glass in case of emergency.
Oh.
How many chances do you think you give friends of the opposite sex to cross boundaries, make mistakes,
Depends on what you got.
be
going on.
habitual line steppers?
Woo! 0.
What are you gonna say?
Me?
Yeah, you Reverend Scrap. Preach.
I think it depends on the situation. I mean, if I was married and I had a supposed to be friend, like I said, if you're a friend, they wouldn't cross the line. That's
Right.
it's plain as-
No,
But
that's
like I
not
said,
true.
Well, think about it. If you have a friend
It should not.
But
should not cross the line.
should not. But here's the thing: people become habitual line steppers when
Hence
the
the
game
t-shirt.
change.
Uh-oh.
Right? When the game changed, then people are like, "Oh, he might be doing forever. Now's my shot."
Shoot your shot.
Right.
Shoot your shot.
I just feel like at this, like where I am and being married, and if we're friends, and if somebody crossed the line, to me, that's that's disrespecting both of us. That's disrespecting
Yeah.
my marriage, and that just means that it's time for me to say goodbye to you because you're not a part of that chapter in my life anymore.
Social media makes you look at things a lot different. 'Cause,
So it does.
you know,
It does.
I'm a man, so back in the day, if social media didn't exist, you know, you pay attention, but knowing that people have mutual friends and that one friend, you just it's not safe.
It's not safe.
Not safe.
It ain't
Not
safe.
safe.
It ain't safe. It ain't safe.
And a lot of times people think that things don't exist or they don't happen or they're not real unless they happen on social media. Unless it's, here we are.
Oh, you mean dummies?
Dummies.
You sure did. Explain what you mean.
Oh, what dummies that they, everything, their whole opinion, their thought process, everything about them is based on social media. I know people that, as long as social media gives off the impression that they're great parents, they don't even see their kids, but they swear up and down, "Oh, I'm a great parent." I know people that think they get a lot of likes, because of their pictures, but okay, you're still single, you're not dating, so what is those likes doing for you? Is the likes paying the bill?
Right.
So, to me, you're a dummy.
Yeah.
I like
Okay.
that.
Some people call it hoeing for likes.
That is the worst type of man or woman.
Yeah, I stay away from those.
So this is kind of a broader question, but in what other ways do you think relationships have changed over time?
Again, it's technology. Nobody enjoys each other's company.
Feminism.
One of the wait. What do you mean by feminism?
Rewind the tape.
Okay.
Rewind the tape, Earl.
Rewind
Rewind
the
the tape.
Okay. Right now, thanks to a lot of the feminist agenda, not feminism as a whole, because feminism is sort of like Islam. How some people practice Islam the way that it's supposed to be, and then you have terrorists. Feminism. You have feminists, and then you have terrorist feminism, and it's glorifying being single. It's glorifying equality, even though under the undertone is really female superiority. These feminists, they want the rights to hold feminine woman days and things like that, but they will show up to boycott a man's day. They made mansplaining, which is, but we say something like women nag, then we're sexist.
I feel you on that. I think one thing that does cause confusion is that for some women, what I've seen is that women tend to be very independent and I wouldn't say necessarily aggressive, but they take on a lot of different roles. Whether you're a single mom or whether you're in a type of career where you're asserting yourself and you're taking control and in charge and things like that. When it comes to relationships, though, they're looking for men to assume male roles. And that becomes, why are you laughing? You don't agree? I think it becomes problematic because, for example, a woman's like, I just want a guy to take me out, to do something nice for me, to plan a date for me. But then they micromanage what those plans are, what the date's all about.
So
I get that. So you're not, so you don't really want him to plan the date. You just want him to be the admin, the secretary, the logistical manager.
Okay.
What did you say?
They won't beta men.
Beta men.
They won't beta men. Right now, being an alpha male is considered, what is it? Toxic masculinity.
No, that is sexy.
So I'm not to every woman.
What's your definition of an alpha man, so I can decide what I think about that?
I mean, an alpha male to me is just a man that, you know, he takes his responsibilities at home. He does what he's supposed to do to take care of his wife, his family. He does his best to maintain financial security and stability for the family. And then you have beta men that do similar things, but they yes men. It's whatever the woman wants. It's whatever she say. I got a lot of beta men friends, and I feel uncomfortable when their girl come in, get to yelling at them in front of me, like, man, you couldn't yell at them when I left.
Well, I feel like that's disrespectful both ways, though. You know, if you're in a relationship, you know, I just feel like certain things should just happen behind closed doors. Yeah. I'm not going to yell at my husband in front of people, and he's not going to yell at me in front of people. I just think it's just disrespectful. But that's just a rule within. I can only speak for us.
Family
like
rules.
just within our marriage. I just don't think it's respectful.
Yeah, and then plus it's gender roles. I mean, right now the gender roles are so screwed up. You don't know who you're talking to.
Do you believe in gender roles, or do you think gender roles are ancient, extinct?
Gender roles are the founding and stable blocks to a healthy relationship. If you do not know your role, how can your relationship strive and survive?
And do you say like your role, meaning what you define those roles to be, or?
I know what my roles is because as a man, if a squirrel get in the roof, guess what? She's looking at me without a second thought. She's not going up there. Because why? Because I'm the man. You know, it's certain. You know, times are changing, so it has to be certain compromises to what our roles are. Because it's like I cook. You know, I clean.
Woo,
you know, I do these things, but a lot of times she does it more than me because she does those things better.
Yeah. Okay. But you're not saying it like traditional roles, like maybe something in the 50s where the woman stays at home.
Oh no, she don't work. Oh, you don't work.
Okay.
You don't work.
I was just wondering how traditional you were going.
Man, if I got $1 million in the bank, I want your 1,000 every 2 weeks.
Because I can appreciate in terms of traditional roles, I do like the door being held open for me, and just general things like that. So I do like that. And if there's a squirrel in the roof, like you're absolutely right. I'm gonna be like,
you're not a squirrel,
like
Tracy.
Desir, can you go, or I can call somebody, but I'm not going up there.
Leave that squirrel alone. That squirrel ain't doing nothing alone.
Oh, come on now. The
beta man gonna be there like
the beta man.
You gonna call your brother.
Do you think that everyone will find their true love or soulmate? This is one of the questions that came out of some of the marketing for the show this week.
No.
No? And why not?
Because not everybody deserves it.
Ooh. Why not?
Because a lot of people are not built to be in a relationship. And it's usually due to bad choices, and especially women. A lot of women have decided that they have these types, and then it takes a lot of going through this same type before now they settle down for the type of guy that they could have had a long time ago.
I do think some people hold themselves back from finding love, and I think the saying of get out of your own way is very true. I think some people just need to get out of their own way. The whole thing about the definition of insanity, they're doing the same thing over and over again. They're dating the same people, they're attracting the same people, and they're looking for love, and they're not finding it because they're not getting out of their own way. They're convinced that it's not them.
But no, here's what I found, because I'm not on social media. I'm just not.
At all.
I'm not that person. Right. So
Not at all. You can't get in the DMs.
Right. From the outside looking in, it seems like social media has caused people to not be their authentic self, which I think is a problem when you're trying to find a relationship, because your Facebook self is not your real self. And so when Facebook self don't show up to the date, catfishing, you know what I'm saying? Then we have now. I have MTV. You cause a problem there because your foundation is completely off. So then you can't be upset when you're like, why isn't this working? Because you're not your authentic self. You have created some portrait of what you want to be, and that's not you. And when you show up, people are like,
Stop blaming social media for people lying.
How's that blaming them?
People lied about who they were before social media even was around.
No. It's far different now. First off, people don't have, it is a projection of life because of what they see on TV. They think that's what they're supposed to be. I'm not saying people weren't lying before social media, but now you have created a collage, or what do you call those boards that people do now? Vision boards?
Vision boards.
You've created a vision board of your life that is not true, but you're perpetrating that every day. I woke up this morning and look at where I am. Yeah, but you got a back screen in your studio underground. Like, don't do
if
that.
somebody's out there dating somebody from the pictures they see on Facebook, I'm gonna go back to my original statement. They're a dummy.
Okay, they may be a dummy. They may be a dummy, but it's what people are doing more now than ever. Back in the day, you could say, "Oh, I'm light skinned with long hair, whatever." Right? You may be lying, but somebody's gonna show up. That's not getting to a whole bunch of people, and you don't have time to perpetuate that image for years before somebody actually finds you out. When they pick you up, they see, "Oh no, you 4 feet tall, your hair is terrible, and you look terrible."
You gonna roll your eyes every time you talk.
I sure am.
Yes.
Yup.
So here's the reason. Here's the reason why.
I'm staying out.
Why a lot of people, I don't want to say most, but there's going to be a lot of people that will never find that love that they're looking for. Part of it, and has a lot to do with it, is they're not willing to put in the work that's required to find the love that they're looking for. Anything worth having, you have to put in some
ton of work. And I think you've been married the longest. Yeah.
15 years.
Ooh, yeah.
So anything that is worth having, you're going to have to put some work in to have it. If you want a awesome body, you got to put some work in. If you want to be healthy, you got to put some work in. If you want to be rich, if you want to be a millionaire, if you want to be a billionaire, you got to put some work in. So the people that do the things necessary for themselves, those are the ones that are going to end up eventually putting themselves in a position to find love. It's still not guaranteed. However, if you take the time to do the things necessary for yourself and put in the work, you'll be more attractive to the person that you're ultimately trying to attract.
Well said. And I think that social media, what social media does to that is it exacerbates the urgency with which people want to see results. I want it now, because I cannot wait to have a life event. Haven't had a life event. Can't wait to post a life event. Come on. Right? People are eager to keep up with the Joneses. It creates this competitive energy amongst people to have dummies. To have these events, to keep up with other people. And so I think you're absolutely right. I think that's one thing that people, and it's the whole microwave mentality, which we've said before in other things, but I think it permeates relationships in a way that's unproductive, because I think it makes people throw their hands up, people move on quickly. And I think there's a lack of communication. It's always disappointing to me when I see families, couples, people out on dates, and everybody's into their phone. Everybody's into social media. I think it's important, particularly when it comes to date night and things like that, to turn off your phone, to be engaged with even when you're just with your friends, just to be engaged with who you're with, and to enjoy your company. It's fine now. It's fine now. So, this is one of the things we talked about this week. Nietzsche said, "It's not a lack of love," and this was a very popular post.
Is not an author, Nietzsche?
Yes.
That I read in high school that I couldn't understand too well. Okay.
Yes.
Yeah.
We're gonna understand it tonight.
Deep, man.
Yeah, girl, we're gonna understand it tonight.
Because you know he deep, you ain't even understand him.
I was really trying my best in that sophomore year high school class.
We gonna
Mr. Baker.
We're gonna get it tonight. Shouts out to Mr. Baker.
So deep.
I'm sure he's an alpha man. I'm sure he's a squirrel chasing alpha man. It is not a lack of love, but a lack of friendship that makes unhappy marriages. Do you agree?
Totally.
Yes.
Halfway.
Yeah.
Then
I'll change the halfway. You need both. You need love.
I need that love.
Yeah.
I mean, we can be great friends, but if we not doing some sweaty love, it's gonna be a problem.
But you know what? I think love is definite. You must have that. But the saying my husband and I always say is, we're great friends first, because you can forgive your friends. It's hard to forgive your lovers. it's
This is
very
true.
hard to forgive your love.
I like that.
This is true, and I think that's absolutely right.
Depends on how much oxytocin they got you releasing.
Okay. All right.
Well, this is something that I've heard, that you have to wake up each morning, and if you choose each other, you know,
Yeah, that's a
you know,
good
do
one.
I?
We're
do
dropping
we
love
choose
nuggets
each other?
tonight, y'all.
Because we can-
Thank you so
you
much.
can love each other as much as you want, but if you have that friendship to me is someone that you trust, you have loyalty, you have a strong foundation with. So you have to have that friendship and continue to choose each other every day, because as you continue to grow in your relationship, you're still individuals and you still change.
Yeah.
So as the years go on, it's your choice. Do I want to continue to adapt, you know, for us to keep moving together, or am I choosing not to adapt and then we grow apart?
Because you
Yeah.
can grow together or grow apart.
Right.
But change,
Yeah.
obviously,
Yeah.
is the only thing that's constant and what is inevitable. That's for you, Mr. Baker.
I'm gonna give her an A. She's
Thanks,
an A.
Nietzsche. Who here has kids? Almost everybody has kids. What do people who do not have kids misunderstand about parenting or relationships?
I don't really.
We understand everything. We can
They
give,
think-
we
they
can
think
give
it's
the
easy.
children
I
back.
think they think it's
think
easy. I
They
think
it's
there's.
easy.
No, don't speak for all. I don't think it's easy.
No, she knows.
No.
She knows because
Oh,
she's,
no,
she's
no,
a
my
wonderful
brother.
aunt.
Yeah.
We talking about the ones that have the misunderstanding.
The
So
misunderstanding, yeah.
generally, you don't
Leah does not
the
have the
misunderstanding.
yeah. She doesn't
I'm
have the
like, I ain't got
misunderstanding
it.
because she's
Yeah.
I do think people underestimate, just like people who've never been married before have an ideology or they have an idyllic view about what marriage looks like. I think the same thing is true with parenting. It's not the Christmas cards that you see on Facebook, right?
Mhm.
There's an unsexy side to parenting. There's an unsexy side to relationships.
Mhm.
And I think what Terrence's point to working hard and putting in the work is very true. I think the same thing is true with parenting, right?
Mhm.
Kids get sick at inconvenient times. You know, they throw up, they have needs. I'm doing more homework now than I thought I ever would. I was like, I'm no longer in the third grade. And the way they're teaching math now these days is ridiculous.
I'm not even there yet.
It's coming.
even there
Get
yet.
ready.
Yeah.
Get ready.
Yeah.
Yeah, both myself and my son are taking a tutor this summer. Just do the math, yeah.
It's true. It's true. Let's talk about competition. True or false? Men don't like to compete, but they like women to do it all the time.
False.
I don't know if I
Can you
understand the
elaborate that a
question.
little bit?
Yeah, I'm competing. In other words, I think there's a theory out there that there's more available women than there are men. So as a result, when it comes to dating and things like that, the idea is that a lot of men have multiple partners with which to choose from, right?
Mhm.
Where women who tend to date maybe one person at a time and or have limited or feel like they have limited options out there. Do you agree with that statement? In other words, the same man who may have a lot of women, right, the player, right, doesn't want to compete for another desirable woman who equally may have other options. There's a lot of frowning in here.
I'm really thinking. I mean,
Do y'all smell
really, I really feel like it's really the woman. If the woman is worth competing for, I mean, I don't know about the whole we don't want to compete. I mean, for the most part, when you first meet a woman, you're competing because she's not 100% not talking to nobody when you meet her. So you pretty much are coming in. If you're the last one at that moment, you got to knock out all of these friend zone and the guys that's already been standing there waiting their turn, and you have to compete to get her the same way women compete with other women for the guy. And honestly, that's the reason why a lot of people single is because they're not worth competing for.
I do think. Well, go ahead. You made a good point.
I would say that it really isn't a competition.
Yeah, it is.
Here's how I look at it.
15 years.
I'm just from a man's standpoint, not from a married man, just from a man's standpoint. If I have something that's of value to that woman, I'm not competing with no other guy.
Mm.
Because
I do think the cream rises to the
the
top.
cream rises to the top.
Oh.
But you don't know you're competing. That's the thing.
But see, the thing is, and it's not, because I'm LeBron James.
Michael Jordan, bro, not LeBron.
I was gonna say, if you LeBron,
to the new
Yes.
millennials out there, they don't know Michael Jordan, but I was Michael Jordan before there was LeBron. But that's another story. My point is, me personally, if I'm confident enough in myself, there's nothing to compete against me.
okay, that's still perception. Even though you perceive yourself as having no competition, that doesn't mean that you didn't edge out some other guys when she decided that she had to make the choice that you were Michael Jordan. You thought you were Michael Jordan, but until she felt you were Michael Jordan, you was Kobe.
Then she wasn't the one.
Spud Webb.
But she can become the. How can you say that she's not the one and she hasn't had the time to really come to the perception of you are the one that she wants?
When we're going through the dating process, she's going through, just like you said, trying to weed out if he's the one compared to some other people that's in her Rolodex. But I'm not wondering, am I better than the other people in the Rolodex? She has to make that decision on her own.
No, I mean, we agree. I'm just saying that even though I agree with what you're saying, but it's still competition is all I'm saying.
Sure.
Regardless if you acknowledge it's a competition, if you don't know that it's a competition, if you don't care that it's a competition, it's still a competition.
But a lot of people act surprised because I always tell people, always assume there is nobody who goes out, when you meet somebody out at a restaurant, a bar, a party, a club, reunion, and you're like, how you doing? They're like, well, are you single? Well, I have a situation. I got somebody I'm talking to. It's either yes or no. Do you have a girlfriend? Do you have a boyfriend? Or you don't? And a lot of people get surprised because I always tell people, and I'm not saying I'm necessarily a relationship expert, but I do talk about dating and all that stuff in relationships all the time. And I think when you meet people, like you said, I don't think anybody's purely single. Just nothing going on but the rent. There's always somebody that you could call, movie, dinner, date, whatever, right? Company of the preferred sex. And a lot of people, I think, sometimes get that wrong. What? This is politically correct.
I mean, it's just interesting of the preferred sex.
I'm just saying, whatever sex you
prefer.
And
actually, even with that statement, I think you're better off not even asking if the person you're talking to is single. I would actually ask, what's your situation? Because I'm sorry, being single now, the definition is you see the same way you feel like I'm single, I'm engaged. So, the technicalities of the words and, some people, you could be single. Yeah, I got a couple people I'm talking to, but I'm not having sex with them. Or, yeah, I'm single. I'm saying I got a couple people that I'm talking to, and I'm only having sex with 2 of them. So, I mean, it's different situations.
Or you could just be flat out single.
Yeah, which isn't. I don't believe that. I don't think it's not one.
You gotta tell them about my hiatuses.
That's a hiatus.
Fourth grade, but
Did you say 4th grade?
Been knowing you since 4th grade.
Oh, I thought you said your hiatus in 4th grade.
saying.
I said what was going down in 3rd? Long division.
If you ain't doing too many years, a couple weeks, a couple months.
Man, I think me personally, I can speak on this. It came to a point where I didn't love myself enough, so that's why you play a lot. And when you get to the point you love yourself, you're comfortable with yourself. So if I take a break, I take a break. Ain't no institution.
Even when I didn't love myself, if I needed to have a friend, I was cool with that.
That's cool.
I can have some self-loathing.
That's cool.
In the shower.
Everybody's a little different, though,
And that's another quote about loving yourself. If you don't love yourself, that was one of the quotes that we had. I think it was today or yesterday. If you don't love yourself, you'll always be chasing people who don't love you either. And I think that self-love is very important. We had a show. We had some relationship coaches who were on before talking about self-love, and having true love for yourself enables you to attract the type of love you're meant to have, the love that's healthy for you, that's good for you, that makes you your best you.
That's cute.
Oh, Brian.
But when you have self-love, once you get to that point where you're confident in yourself and you love yourself and you're a whole person individually and you can enter into a healthy relationship, when you come across the nonsense, I think at that point you just don't have time for it, because you don't have to be with anybody.
You know what I'm saying?
Like the whole I can do bad all by myself.
Ain't
nobody got time for that.
Ain't nobody got time for that.
Like
you can love yourself
you gotta get married or your friends, or you don't pay. You you focus on yourself.
Yeah.
Right.
Focus on yourself.
Yeah.
And I do think once you've been married before,
Mm-hmm.
particularly if you've had kids or you've achieved things in your relationship status that you're comfortable with, a lot of that stuff becomes irrelevant or unimportant, right?
Mhm.
There's no race to the altar. There's no biological clock that you're concerned
Right.
about.
Yeah,
You're out here
that's
just
true.
living.
Yeah.
And so it really comes down to some of the companionship, right? I think many people get married for procreation or children and companionship. Those tend to be the two main factors that drive relationships. So if you've already had children or all the children that you want to have, what's really left over is the companionship. Do I want to spend the rest of my life with this person? Am I compatible with this person? Do I enjoy this person one-on-one, group settings, what have you?
What if you want more children now? You know, after.
Then you're not done procreating. So having children is still a factor. Y'all ready to play a game? Y'all want to play some games?
Like, okay.
Yeah. You want to play some games?
Sure. I'm
Well, I
ready
got
for
one more
that.
question, and then we can play the game. Because I think rejection is very important. Well, I actually have two questions. The first one is rejection, and they're kind of related. Why are people so afraid of rejection, particularly men?
I don't know. I never understood it myself.
I don't think there's anything wrong with rejection because what
It's
I
how you
like to
take
know.
rejection.
Well, it's how you
It's how
take
you take it.
rejection. And my theory to people is, wouldn't you want to know if somebody's really into you or not? Right? There are people who are attracted to you that you have no interest in, right? And consequently, there's going to be people you're interested in who are not interested in you. It's just the circle of life, kind of. But knowing that kind of is half the battle, because that's part of what the attraction game is, right? I see you looking at me. I see you. We made eye contact. We brushed up against each other. Ooh, what does that mean, right? But sometimes just having the conversation, like, yo, what's up? You interested?
I don't know. I think
Do you chase squirrel? Like,
I think simps get mad more.
you say what?
I think simps get mad. I don't
Simps,
see-
dummies and simps on
I
dating.
don't really see too many men getting mad at rejection. It's usually a simp.
I think a lot of people don't deal with rejection well. In other words, I like you, I've chosen you, so you're supposed to like me.
No.
Why don't you like me?
No, I hear that a lot.
Yes.
Oh, no.
You know, I've seen women like, you were supposed to be mine.
I think that has to do with ego then.
But
I
it's
don't-
ego, but it's
It's
ego,
a lot.
pride,
It's a
rejection,
multitude.
yeah.
It's self-entitlement.
But it's self-entitlement. It's this is what I've decided is for me, without paying attention to whether or not that person feels the same way. Just because you've chosen me for you doesn't mean I've chosen you for me.
Right.
What do you call those? We call those crash dummies. What do you call them?
You know,
Crash dummies, simps, squirrel chasers.
Crash dummies.
Yeah.
What do you think about women who pursue or men who don't pursue?
I'll go last this time.
Looking at me.
Yeah, we looking at you.
You know, gee, of this relationship game.
What I think about men that pursue.
Don't pursue.
Don't pursue.
And women who do pursue.
If the woman is strong and she's confident and she can carry herself and conduct herself she's going to pursue. There's nothing wrong with that. Me personally, I don't see anything wrong with the woman pursuing, especially if she's desirable. If she's undesirable, she may not want to pursue.
Do men lose respect for women who pursue?
It's all your delivery.
I personally don't have a problem.
like,
Just don't ask me to marry you.
yeah,
You get on your knee, man, we breaking up. But,
yeah, of course, right.
but you know, yeah, I mean, it's not. I think it's. I really feel like it's in a woman's best interest
Right.
that if you see a guy, this guy, you see everything about him, you like it, like what is going on. You're not sure if he can tell that you like him. There's nothing wrong with putting yourself out there and letting him know, like, hey, you know, I see something in you. Let's
That was my
do
point.
woo woo woo,
That was my
as
point.
opposed to just never saying anything and then get mad when he get with this other chick.
And then
social
complain
media.
that you can't find the right
And,
person.
you know, where's all the good men? Oh, he was standing right there in front of you.
And you didn't approach him.
And as far as the guys that don't pursue, why should they? There's a reason why a lot of guys don't pursue is because a lot of these women are so easy. You know, man, I get you a blunt, 2 piece of puffs, and a couple loose squares, and you having sex with me. If 9 women do it, I'm cool with the 10th girl that don't want to do it getting mad. Okay, fine. You know, I mean, I just feel like women need to present themselves a lot better, and more men would pursue more women.
Why you look like that?
It's true. Sometimes I do think people make it all too easy.
Loose squares, a piece of blood.
You said loose squares. Bit of blood.
Loose squares and squirrel chasers and,
Oh, no, there ain't no
and dummies.
You don't chase squirrels for the two loose squares and a piece of puff girl. You gotta call their brother.
And with that, we're going to move on to our game. Does everybody have their game piece? So we're going to vote, right? There's no right or wrong answers. Don't be cheating and don't let peer pressure get to you. But we're going to decide whether it is marrieds or singles for these questions. Ready? The first question is, and you all can vote. If you vote online, make sure you put down the question we're talking about. So the first question, you can put just a keyword and then your answer so we can just see what people are saying. The first question is, who takes the best vacations? There's no buzzer.
I want to see
Can
y'all
I
catch
do
that.
both?
No, you have to choose one.
I choose both.
No, you cannot choose both.
I want to choose both with her.
No,
So that's two.
no.
I-
It's like Ocean's 11. You're in or
Los
out.
dos.
Well,
We're gonna say married.
I'm gonna go
Hell
with.
yeah,
I'm
my
gonna go with
vacation's
me.
on point.
Can you tell us some places you've been?
I'll say.
Some of your favorite married vacations.
Last year was Hong Kong. That was super dope. And then we did Panama in the same year, which was real dope. We've been to Scotland to drink whiskey. That was dope.
They do take very
I see
nice
why you on
vacations,
social media.
which I think,
No.
which I
I
think
ain't
is
got
great.
time. But this is like no kids.
Yeah,
and then this is kids.
But I will say, I do have some single friends, and I'm single technically now, and so I do see some single people out here. Presumably, they don't have children, but they're out here taking some amazing trips and vacations too. So,
Because they ain't got no responsibilities.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, it's benefits to
Kids
both.
cost
Being
money.
married, you
Kids
have
cost
if
money.
you have
Yeah.
two incomes, you can
That's
take more of an
full fare.
extravagant trip sometimes more than the
Yeah.
single people can. Being single, you don't have kids, so you are freer to take trips.
To
So I
take
mean,
more
it's
trips.
I think it's
Yeah.
a both. I still say both.
Yeah.
I see you, Terrence, out here not voting. Let's make love great again. Question 2: Who tends to live longer?
Women.
Who tends to live longer? What we got? Married? What'd you say? Married?
Statistics show companionship. If you're
Yeah.
Yeah.
Married.
I know that married men live longer.
Heck yeah.
But I do think married women may die faster from all
Yes.
kinds
I
of
think
heart
so.
disease,
Yes.
heartbreak,
I
heartache.
think it's the other way around.
I think single
men,
people.
No.
men go before the women. My grandfather went 13 years.
I mean, women are always going to outlive us, but
But I do think married men live longer than single because they're eating better, you're getting exercise.
Yeah.
Stress,
Think of
though.
your Uncle Bill.
And he lived a long time.
well, studies do show sleeping next
He was there about 4 or
to
5
people
times.
do
Yes.
help your body.
Yeah.
Being you sleep with another person,
companionship.
you get better sleep.
Yeah.
It's a lot of benefits to sleeping with someone else. Or for you single women that don't got a man, just let your baby sleep with you.
Don't do that.
What?
Do not create a husband or wife substitute.
I
Look at
didn't,
Brian
I
being
didn't say call
on
your son
notebooking.
king. I just said he can sleep in the bed with you. now you going too far. You start calling him the king.
No. All right, number 3. Who has the most friends? Who has the most friends? Single people. It's unanimous. Single people have the most friends. Anybody want to comment on that?
You got more time, and you bored.
So you meet more people,
Yeah,
you go
yeah,
out, you
yeah.
make more friends.
You know, when you're married, you got somebody that you can spend a little time, but you got to go home. Single people, they got time to meet a lot of people, and if you bored, you definitely want somebody around.
When you're married, you sometimes eliminate some of your circle. You make your circle smaller.
Yeah, you have to.
The habitual line steppers got to go.
Friends.
You
have
out the
separate
door.
friends.
Yeah.
Question 4. Who is the most spontaneous? Who is the most spontaneous? Stop. Cheater. They did this in Mr. Baker's class. Cheating. Married people.
You know the reason why? Can I comment on why they lying with the married?
please.
Please enlighten.
Cause she said that her husband don't even send her no little Richard pics. So y'all, I ain't saying y'all gonna have fun, but I know that's my thing.
Well, how are married people? What was your vote, Terrence?
Marriage.
Married?
That's right.
More
Come on,
spontaneous?
Come on
Absolutely.
through.
Oh, just 50 shades of spontaneity.
We came home with pizza tonight.
That is spontaneous.
That's spontaneity street.
That's right.
Spontaneity. I do believe that marriage, good marriages, the marriages that I've seen, and I think you all have great marriages and relationships. I think keeping that spontaneity, keeping that fire burning is important, because that's who you've chosen to be with for the rest of your life. So you have to find ways to make it creative, spontaneous, fun, exciting. And I do think having the same partner, having that level of trust, that level of intimacy can lead to great, spontaneity. So
We play fight karate in a crowded elevator, and that's real spontaneous. Real.
Play fight karate?
Oh, hell yeah.
Is this in Hong Kong?
No, this is just in Starbucks and in any place. All of a sudden you'll hear, whoa, and then it's on.
It's on.
Don't do it in Starbucks.
Oh, true.
Folks will be on their phone.
True.
Sure, might have a situation.
They're calling the police on you.
True.
They call the cops on you.
Who gets the most sleep? Who gets the most
I think
sleep?
that depends on if you have kids or
Yeah.
not. I don't think it's like a married or single thing.
I do
I think it's like the age of the children.
Can we go with both on this one? This
Yeah.
definitely got to be a both.
No, you gotta pick one.
My kids are up
this
at
is
like
very
6 something
unfair.
in the morning, like religiously,
So,
every
I mean,
day. So
and plus, even with the married
It's a
part,
kid thing for
with the married,
I'm saying stick with single.
Yeah.
sometimes my girl is the one I get some sleep because she got up. Sometimes she gets some sleep because I got up. If you're single, you got to get up. So I don't know.
I don't know. That's a tough one.
Oh,
I'm gonna go with
That's a
married.
tough
I'm gonna
one.
go with married
Get some more sleep.
because it's more teamwork. So
Yes.
one person. Gets
I
some
do
sleep.
think there's more teamwork. I think single parents get the least amount of sleep.
Yeah, that's parents. So, but if you're in the bed by yourself, you
sleep straight through.
You sleeping straight like a
That is
baby.
true.
You married?
Some-
Okay, well, even
But
with
you have
married,
more
every
friends.
married
But
couple
you
doesn't
have
have
more
kids,
friends
so we're gonna
than
go with
you.
that logic.
But then,
We're
are
not
you up in
kids,
the club?
though.
Are
We're
you
not
up in the
talking
club
about
when
kids.
you're
We're talking
married?
about single, straight up. I just left the club. Now I'm in the bed. When you got somebody that's when you're
Married?
married,
Yeah, you
If
ain't
you're
going
not-
you ain't
if
going
he
to bed.
snores
Come
or
to
she
the club.
snores
I'm
or
gonna
whatever.
I'm gonna go with married because we're not always leaving the club at 4:00 in the
I
morning.
just said right. So I'm
Well,
saying single,
well,
straight up single.
We'll skip
you
the
can
club
sleep
and just say you want to
sound,
have a
but-
discussion at 2 in the
Right,
morning.
you can sleep sound.
Are you
It's
gonna
single.
That's a discussion.
Nobody rolling over.
Are you
How you
gonna-
doing?
Straight up.
Hey, are you
How you
sleep?
doing?
Right.
Are you sleep?
Let's sleep.
Right.
Single.
Sleep?
Oh, I see. Y'all need to have some
I don't
bedtime
hear-
rules
I don't
in
hear
y'all.
feet. I don't hear
Ain't no
nobody
waking me
kids.
up at 2
Married.
o'clock to
Married.
talk.
Number 6.
We're done with
Number
the club.
6. Who is the happiest?
Oh,
You
it
gotta go with
depends.
both.
It depends on where you are.
Y'all need to stop being wishy-washy.
I'm not wishy-washy.
I need some decisive people up in here.
No, I mean, but it's.
The alpha males are decisive up in this.
I mean,
happy
the alpha
either
males
way.
still
Straight
understand there are variables.
Yeah, I say.
There's only two sides to the car. Bam.
Bam. All right. Who has the best mental health? The best mental health. Think about loneliness, spouse driving them crazy, anger.
I'm gonna go with married up until they get divorced.
I think that's an individual thing.
Oh.
Apparently, with these questions, there's no such thing as individual.
There's no. You gotta
There's
pick
only
something.
single
That's
or
right.
married.
You gotta pick something.
No variables.
You have to choose a side?
You have to choose a
You have
side.
to choose a side.
6 million ways to die. Choose one.
Married.
Go married.
Come on.
Okay. Okay. So this is a gender specific question.
Yeah.
Who is fatter? Married men or single men?
Married.
All day. Yeah.
I would probably say married man.
All day.
240 pounds out there.
If you're gonna ask for women, I'm just gonna.
I would say
right
the same
there.
thing.
Who's fatter? Married women or single women?
I would say
All
married
day.
women.
Leah said all
You-
day.
Right. Exactly.
You go for it.
The last question in our game. Who has a better sex life?
I don't know.
What's going on over here?
Yeah. Come on.
home.
I mean, now, that one is very individualized.
Oh, here we go.
No, I mean, it is.
To choose a side.
I love my sex life now, but I'm not gonna lie. When I was single, I was getting it in. And I mean, it was just, I don't.
Girls are bringing them little squares, honey. With those little squares.
Hey, all I had to do was go to Aldi's and get a box of pizza puffs and buy a pack of squares. I was good. I'm good. It's 20 cigarettes in a pack.
Hey, getting it.
Oh, man.
He said, "Wow."
Well, you've heard it here first.
Ooh,
Thank you so much. This is awesome. I want to thank you guys all for being here and for being good sports. I appreciate your opinions. These just represent their opinions with the pressure of being live and on camera.
Yes, I was nervous.
These do not represent the opinions of all married people and all single people. I do want to thank our sponsors again, GH Private Wealth Management. Their number is 800-591-6004. Audrey Phillips, who's our credit repair specialist, 847-721-7198. And Dr. Phyllis Wilson, who is a personal development strategy consultant. And she also is the author of the book, Josephine's Coat of Many Colors. Her number is 312-600-5561. And again, I have all their information in my various posts, so you can check them out. Please reach out to them because they are fantastic. Don't forget to register for the Homecoming Challenge, www.homecomingchallenge.com. Before we go, does anybody have any comments or anything you want to say with respect to relationships, advice you have for our audience?
Yes. Single ladies, value yourselves more. Stop making yourself easy prey for the predating men that's out here. Always remember that a lazy antelope will make a lazy lion. So if that's over your head, play it back by your mama and have her explain it to you.
Anybody else?
Yeah, I would just say, love yourself.
I think that's important.
Love yourself.
I think that's important.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, next week on Dana B and Dana, it is our Memorial Day show. And it is our Memorial Day show. Yes. And we are honoring people who serve, those living and those who have passed. So please tune in. It's going to be a great show. I've got some really great stories from people who have served. And we're going to have a good Memorial Day show. So have a great holiday. Thank you all so much for tuning in. This is Dana being Dana.
Woo! And we're out.
So sweet. Jodeci, take us home. We're still live, so don't say nothing crazy.
Okay.
Wait, we're not. Wait, so we're done. So we're live.
You guys want to hit out?
We're live now. We gotta turn off the phone.
Well, you know what? Since we still live, bleepity bleep. And bleep. I ain't get a chance to cuss.